IVM.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Musafir Stories, India's very own travel podcast, where each week we discuss the story of travelers in their own words and relive their experiences with you, our listeners. Hi guys, I'm your host Saif, and before we get on with today's episode, we'd like to give a quick shout out to a podcast that we're listening to at the moment. It's called The Inspiring Talk by our good friend Bijay Gautam. Bijay takes you on a journey of ups and downs in the life of today's most successful and inspiring personalities. If you are looking for inspiration and amazing interviews with world champions, TED speakers, best-selling authors, or serial entrepreneurs, make sure to check the Inspiring Talk podcast on your podcast app or on the website theinspiringtalk.com. Now on with today's episode. Hi guys, our guest traveler today is Prasanjit Kumar, an avid biker and traveler from Maharashtra who runs a blog and community called Behhind the Handlebar. Prasanjit takes great pride in meeting fellow riders, sharing and learning new things, and promoting responsible riding through this community. So without much ado, let's get on with today's interview and find out where Prasanjit is taking us to. So with that introduction, I'd like to welcome Prasanjit from the blog Behhind the Handlebar. Prasanjit, thank you so much for being a part of the Musafir Stories and welcome to the podcast.
Hi Saif, it's been really a great pleasure to, do something like this for the first time. I've never been on a podcast like this and this is my first time. So thank you very much for, asking me out for this. Happy to speak my heart out to help the travelers and, share my experience over on this podcast.
Thank you so much, Prasanjit. The pleasure is all ours to have you, somebody who is so active in the biking community, to come speak to us and our listeners and share your experiences about travels you have done so far. So the introduction that I gave about you, Prasanjit, is quite concise. So why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit more about you and also more about your blog, behindthehandlebar.com, right? Tell us a little bit more about that. How did that get started?
So basically, I was never aware of all the scenes of social media and blogging and everything. This 3 years back, I was doing a motorcycle journey, which was for 51 days.
Okay.
And I had covered 16,000 odd kilometers during that ride. And when I was on that ride, I was, blogging about my daily stories. It's not blogging. I was just posting about my stories and photos. I was clicking on the way on my personal profile on Facebook. Okay, just sharing it with my friends. And that's where a lot of people commented saying that, you should start your blog. And it will help you to document all the information and the stories which you are writing and sharing with us at one particular place.
Okay.
So I thought it's a good idea, something like I can make something very constructive and very precise where I can even share this information and be helpful for others who wants to take such journey ahead, in future.
Absolutely.
So that's where I thought I should start a blog. But I was very confused about what should I name the blog because there are lots of names which are already taken. So I was just clueless about what should I name, and I was riding my motorcycle in Spiti Valley at that moment.
Okay.
While I was riding towards Spiti, mountains are really breathtaking over there, the view of mountains.
Sure.
So I said, this view is the best view you can get behind the handlebar. And that time it struck me that this exactly can be a good name, Behind the Handlebar. And that's how it all started.
Absolutely. It is a very apt name for your wonderful blog. But in terms of your personal and professional background, right, you have a unique story. I mean, you were a practicing company secretary. You are still a practicing company secretary.
I was an employee earlier till 2014 January 31st. I left my job. My last day on job was on January 31st, 2014. I started my own practice from Feb 1st, the very next day.
Right.
Because I was denied permission to take leaves, there were restrictions on days and all. So I'm not a person who will go with the restrictions. So I chose out of it and I started my own practice because my degree and my qualification allows me to practice just like doctors can, lawyers can, chartered accountants can.
Yeah.
So I decided to start my own practice and, money was not more important because at that age, I feel at the age of 25 when I started my practice, I think experiences are more important than money. Money you can make after 30 also. That's what I felt.
Wonderful.
So I started, I started my own firm with a partner.
Yeah.
And the money came through. The money was not really a problem. The time was the problem, which was sorted.
Yeah.
And the money kept flowing in bits and pieces, and eventually I did the All India ride and many more rides. Like since the time I left my job, it's been more than 180,000 kilometers I have ridden on my Thunderbird 500, which
that's marvelous. And just for the reference of our listeners, Prasanjit is a practicing company secretary. And I'd just like to ask when the love of biking started. Is this something that you've always nurtured from a young age? When did your first bike trip happen?
My father gifted me a motorcycle in the year 2009. Okay, because I cleared the company secretary's exam at that time. He gifted me a motorcycle as per his promise. After that, I started taking small trips, from Mumbai to Alibag, like how Nandi Hills from Bangalore.
Yeah.
That was back in 2009, 2010. I used to do that. Alibag, Lonavala, and nearby places like Igatpuri. You know what every biker starts with.
Yeah.
And slowly and steadily, I felt that I need more and more and more. And in 2011, April, when it was India versus Sri Lanka final World Cup match, it was in Bombay. Yeah. And it was on a Saturday. And since it was in Bombay and my office was in the same area where the stadium is, I got to leave on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, it used to be a boring 6-day job also. So that's I started off on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday was Maharashtra New Year, Gudi Padwa, which is today, right now.
Right.
So I got 3 days window. Okay. So I said, okay, let me try. Let me go somewhere. I had planned this some 10 days prior, and I informed my family, which didn't go well with them. So a lot of criticism came through, a lot of scoldings came through. But, if you want to do something, you don't have to listen to anyone. I disregarded everything, every opposition which came from my friends and family, that you are mad. Because that time this trend was not there. Means nobody knew that, nobody means in my locality, because I stay in a small town. Okay. Maybe in Mumbai and all it was common, but here in small town, going from Mumbai, from Ambernath, from my place to Mumbai also on a bike was a bigger task. That exposure wasn't there.
Okay.
But eventually I did that. I rode my first motorcycle to solo trip from Mumbai to Goa.
Okay.
On floaters. Okay. Wearing a t-shirt. And I didn't know that there exist riding boots and jackets and all that.
Yeah.
I just made a trip. I came back, and that was it. That was the start of everything. Like whatever I've done till then. After getting that 2011 Goa trip experience, the next trip I did was next year in 2012, because I was employed. I didn't get too many leaves.
Correct.
Okay. So next year in 2012, I did an 8-day solo trip to Kerala.
Okay.
And again in 2014, when I left my job, I did one more Kerala trip solo, and it has been solo ever since. Very few with the groups, only on weekends and all when we go out to chill. That time it's with the group, but when it's long distance for several days, it's only solo or with another person with whom my wavelength matches or my pattern of travel matches. That's all.
Excellent. And thank you for sharing us a detailed timeline as to when this started. And it's indeed very endearing as to where you are in the communities, right? The Behind the Handlebar community is today. Everything starts from small beginnings, but we're very happy that it's in such a good place now with so many fellow bikers and riders. Wonderful. And that's very commendable that you're doing this for the community. And on that note, I'd just like to get into the next section of the interview, which we usually do whenever we have a guest traveler on the podcast, is we request them to take us and our listeners on a journey that they've done in the past, and share their experience of the place, of the people, of the culture, the entire experience of that journey. So having that in mind, where do you want to take our listeners and our fellow bikers today, Prasanjit?
Entire India is beautiful. Okay, the entire India is really worth seeing and visiting. But I have found a new love in a certain region of this country, and that's Northeast.
Yeah.
Northeast part. and I wanted to do Northeast from a long time.
Okay.
So I did it for the first time. Means during my all India trip, I just visited Meghalaya and came back.
Okay.
It was not really a trip to Northeast. Northeast was just a part of that trip. Okay. So I decided after my all India trip that I will come to Northeast specifically for exploring this region. And in 2017 February, I went to Northeast along with a friend of mine who was from Hampi near Bangalore.
Sure.
So he accompanied me and he rode down on his Triumph Tiger. I was on my Thunderbird 500.
Okay.
And he is that person whom I met through my motorcycle club named Wolfpack India. And one such crazy person from whom I got inspired to do such kind of trips. So I didn't mind having him as my company at that time. The next best thing to solo trip is to ride with a person with whom your wavelength matches. That's what I realized.
Absolutely. Yeah. Otherwise, the journey is hell, right? When you're constantly at loggerheads.
Basically, you don't want to compromise when you are on a trip or doing something which you love to do. Okay.
Absolutely.
So it's your love, so you don't compromise what you love to do. So that's what I believe. So with Muthu, my friend who accompanied me.
Okay.
With Muthu, it's been like stay in the dhabas, stay on the tent, don't take room, stay with the locals.
Yeah.
We have been doing that.
Okay.
So we did that all throughout the trip. So Northeast was a very exciting part, and I have blogged about my Mumbai to Tawang journey on my website.
Okay.
And beyond that, I didn't blog, means whatever I did. So I would like to speak about what happened beyond Tawang.
Okay, excellent. So this is exclusive in that sense, right?
I am a practicing company secretary, so writing so many blogs is practically, a bit difficult.
Yeah.
So I have written Mumbai to Tawang on my website, but what happened after Tawang towards Meghalaya is what I can, speak about right now.
Excellent. No, we're very excited to be speaking more about the Northeast because, as you said, it is an excellent place and still very underrated, still being discovered. There is obviously a number of travel bloggers who have started going there, but I think in its entirety, I would still say that it is very much one of the unexplored places of India and very untouched.
Yes, very untouched and very raw as of now.
Exactly,
okay.
exactly.
So because see what Ladakh was in 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
You get that feeling right now in Northeast. Like that kind of struggle, challenge, and the adrenaline you get in Northeast at this moment.
Yeah, very aptly put, I think. That's a very nice way of putting it. And in terms of the number of days that you spent on this trip, how long was it, Prasanjit?
Starting from Mumbai and back to Guwahati, because I ended my ride in Guwahati as I had call from my client regarding some audits and all.
Okay.
So I ended in Guwahati. So from Mumbai to Guwahati, it took me around 29 days.
29 days. Excellent. And a rough estimate of the number of kilometers that you covered during this trip?
It should be like, see, in Northeast, you cannot cover too many kilometers in a day. Okay. At the max, you cover 200, 250, sometimes 150, sometimes 300, not more than 300. So in this entire trip, I covered not more than 6,000 to 7,000 kilometers.
Okay. And if I had to ask you about preparation, right? In terms of packing, like you're going for such a long trip, you did mention that you did rough it out a little bit by staying with locals at dhabas and all of that. But still, you only have a limited space to carry anything along with you, right? So what did you pack? What are the essentials that you packed?
See, the essentials which I pack on my motorcycle trip is already mentioned on my website, but I will give you a rough, idea about how what all I carry. First thing is, see, the clothes. The clothes for a 10 days trip, I carry 3 to 4 t-shirts, not more than that. Okay. So I was carrying 8 to 10 t-shirts for this trip. And 2 to 3 jeans. And regarding the other technical things which I have to carry is my spare parts. Because I feel that you can get a mechanic, but you won't get a spare part at a place where you are stuck. So always the minimal spare parts which can break down at any moment. And the list is completely there in the website. Then there is the tent. I carry tent as a mandatory thing on all my trips. Whether I use it or not, I carry my tent and my sleeping bag. I carry a first aid kit, which is very important. Then comes the toolkit. So the basic toolkit like the spanner, the screwdrivers, the pliers. Then so I keep a set of all this. The main intention is to travel light. Don't
Sure.
travel with too much of luggage,
Mm-hmm.
and don't make yourself clumsy by being more heavy.
Yeah.
Keep it short and sweet. I carry my camera equipments, the most
Yeah.
important thing,
Yeah.
and my laptop. Yeah, that's about it. Like at a time, not more than 40 to 50 kilos of luggage should be there on my bike. Not more
Okay.
than that.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And you have this set up on saddlebags. Like, how do you have this?
Yeah, I have a saddle bag
Okay.
which I put over on my pillion seat,
Mm.
and above my pillion seat is my camera bag.
Okay.
Okay, there's a tank bag on the tank
Mm-hmm.
where I keep my tools and spares and everything.
Yeah.
And I keep one camera over there also. Just because I want to remove, and when I stop somewhere, I will take out the camera from there. I don't have to open the bag at the pillion seat.
Yeah, quick
Which is
access. Yeah. Okay. Okay. What about a jerry can? Do you carry like spare
no.
fuel? No.
Thunderbird 500 has an 18 liter, 19 liter tank, fuel tank. So
Right.
that is sufficient for 350 to 400 kilometers. And I find you can get fuel even while doing Manali to Leh. You don't have to carry fuel when you are traveling on a Thunderbird 500. That's an advantage which I get from Thunderbird.
Yeah.
So I don't carry fuel, and it's always risky to carry fuel, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I don't take that chance. I would rather, if fuel gets finished, I'll just sit down there and pass my time till I get fuel. So because the thing is, I never have a definite plan. So I don't have to, reach somewhere at the end of the day. So, if fuel is finished, there's a breakdown, I'll just sit down and enjoy at the same place. Like, I don't mind. I have a tent, I carry my home along, so it's fine with me. I can adjust anywhere. That's all.
Excellent. That's very practical advice as well. And in terms of, I know you've given a good breakdown of the preparation in terms of the packing and everything. But in terms of permits and everything, is that something you needed? Because I know parts of the Northeast do require the NL line permit.
Majority parts of Northeast require permits.
Right.
And the only place where you don't require permits is Assam and Meghalaya. In Nagaland, Arunachal, Manipur, Mizoram, all the states you will require. Tripura, you don't require permits. But in every other state, you will require permit.
Right. So these were arranged like as you reached your first stop at the Northeast, or how did you arrange these permits?
These permits were arranged by a friend of mine who was expecting me in Northeast from a long time.
Okay.
So he said that you don't have to worry, just pass on your scanned copies of your ID proof and, everything.
Okay.
I will make the permits for you. I'll make the permits ready. You don't have to worry.
Okay.
So it's a very relatively very easy, procedure to get the permits, but it's not a big headache because Northeast is getting promoted for tourism very well. So permits and all is the least to bother about if you're there.
Sure. Okay, that's some excellent advice, and you've set this up really well for us to get on the journey. Now, take us with you and Muthu, right? Your partner in crime. Take us on this journey. You have started out from Mumbai, so just draw this journey out for us and our listeners, and share your experiences of the journey.
So the thing is, we reached Tawang, okay, and we came back from Tawang to Tezpur again in Guwahati.
Okay.
And after Tezpur, we wanted to do some more of Arunachal. So we went to Arunachal to Itanagar, from there to Zero to Dapo, means covering the entire west to east of Arunachal.
Okay.
And get back to Assam.
Okay.
And from Assam, I went ahead towards Nagaland.
Okay.
From Nagaland, I came to Imphal, that is in Manipur. From Imphal was one of the toughest journey of my life. Towards Jiribam, that is Silchar in Assam. Okay. So Imphal to Jiribam was the most toughest and challenging route I have faced till date. So from Silchar, I entered Meghalaya, one of the very favorite states of mine in Northeast, because I loved Meghalaya the first sight when I did it back in 2015. At that time also, I really wanted to come back to Meghalaya and see this place again. We entered from Silchar, that is from the east of Meghalaya. Okay. And we entered Meghalaya to take the first stop at the Jaintia Hills. Okay. We took the night at Jaintia Hills at Joy. Okay. So I have this peculiar habit of not taking the highways more of the time. I love to go into the interior and internal routes and find out new routes and explore some new places which are away from the mainstream tourism.
Yeah.
So from Jowai, I went somewhere, even I was not aware, but I was looking at the map and I was following the white lines. If you see in the map, there is this yellow lines and the white lines.
Right.
So always follow the white line. That's where the real beauty lies.
I guess the yellow lines, just for the reference, you're referring to the national highways, I guess, right? When
Yeah,
you see the yellow
exactly.
lines?
Yeah. So most of the, that's what I said. I described it by saying that you will find Punjabi dhabas in Chennai on the yellow line. I generally take all my journeys through the white lines, and connecting back to the yellow,
Yeah.
then leaving the yellow again in some time and going through internal routes.
Okay.
So we saw some really amazing places which had no tourism or which had no people around. You get this look from the locals, and you get to know that they are not used to this. And they are really worried, or they are really excited, or they are really surprised. So basically, if you ride to Ladakh, everyone knows there are bikers. Okay?
Correct.
That's when you go to such places where they are not used to bikers, and where they don't know that such a thing exists, that people even travel on motorcycles.
Yeah.
That's where the real conversation begins with the people.
Yeah. And then going about these routes, you did mention that you choose the white lines, as you say, right?
Yeah.
How do you figure out, like, if you're heading to a place, do you just use the milestones and the
the
direction
thing is,
board?
suppose I'm planning a next trip to Kerala.
Right.
Okay. So I will go to Google Maps and I will download the offline map first. So whenever, even if I don't have a network, I want to keep my phone on airplane mode to keep all the bullshit of the real world away. At that time also I can access my map.
Yeah.
Keep the GPS on. The GPS still shows on the map because GPS is a separate device on the phone.
Sure.
So it has no connection with mobile internet.
Correct.
So it shows your location on an offline map which you have downloaded. So once you're there, you just keep the mobile on the mobile phone holder on the bike, which I don't carry because I don't want to, complicate too many things by add too many frills on my motorcycle. So I keep it very simple.
Okay.
So I'm an old school. I will stop. I look at the mobile. I'll see. Okay, fine. I'm going. I have lots of time here. I don't plan my ride, so I have all the time in the world.
And you don't rush it.
Yeah, I don't rush into it. Sometimes it's like 500 kilometers a day. Sometimes it's maybe 50 kilometers a day. Okay. So it's all about where I feel the vibe to settle down for the day.
Right.
So going towards Jowai, we came down to a very beautiful place called Leshka Dam.
Okay.
See, basically no tourism is present over there.
Okay.
So Leshka Dam was a really good discovery, and we went somewhere on the backside of the dam doing a lot of off-roading and pulling the bikes and all. And that feeling that nobody else is looking at you at this place itself gives you goosebumps. And the silence, makes you feel very pleasant over there.
Yeah, especially if you've been living in the cities, right? It's such a welcome change. Firstly, the scenery around, right? Green and everything. Second, the silence.
And Meghalaya being a very heavily forested area, it's like evergreen forest everywhere. So it's not a rainforest with tall trees, but it is green everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's what is lovely about Meghalaya. So, you just sit there and admire and, enjoy the silence. That's all.
Excellent. And then these places that you found out, right? Now you just mentioned about the dam that you went to. You found these out through the locals, I'm assuming?
No, I saw there was a big water body on the map. Okay. So I just followed the trail to that water body, and I like that place somehow because there was silence and there was absolute quietness, and backdrop of the scenic beauty was really good. And from there we headed south and towards west, and we came to this place called Krangsuri Waterfalls.
Okay.
So this is one pristine waterfall. If you just Google Krangsuri Waterfall, you will get to see how beautiful this is. So it's still less explored because it falls in Jaintia Hills. Okay. And people generally visit Cherrapunji and Dauki. So this one falls bit more on the eastern side of Khasi Hills and on the Jaintia Hills. Okay. So we went to Krangsuri Waterfall. The site was amazing, lovely. We enjoyed that. We left from there. Okay. And we headed to Dauki. And Dauki was a real surprise. The crystal clear water which you have already... You must have seen the photos.
Yes, we have.
But all this which I'm going from Jowai to Leshka to this place called Krangsuri. We were all doing this through unknown routes, through the uneven routes. So the journey was more beautiful along with the destination.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
We were enjoying the journey because there were small patches of roads, not the usual roads which people normally take, which the taxi drivers normally take.
Yeah.
So we're taking the internal village routes and where there are no roads sometimes. So that was the fun.
And then I guess you're not missing out too much either, right? Because Northeast roads are, they're a little infamous. They're of not being of very good quality, right? Roads are bad. That's what.
But Meghalaya is somewhat an exception because I find Meghalaya roads to be much better than any other states in Northeast.
Yeah.
And the worst roads are in Arunachal and Manipur, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, the condition of road doesn't mean it is a bad state or not a place to go. When there are, because when there is bad roads, not much people visit, and it's, heaven for me in that way. So I interpret it that way.
Blessing in disguise.
Roads really don't matter when I take any trip.
Yeah, and it seems like you're making your own roads and you're off-roading most of the time anyway. So.
Yeah. So roads are the least concern and least botheration for me. So like any road is fine. It's a good road, bad road, off-road, no road. Anything.
Awesome. And then tell us a little bit, because you are traveling through the day and you're usually pitching at night. So this is mostly with locals, I'm assuming, right? Because you don't have as much time to plan and book, say, hotels. You just either walk in or you pitch.
I always walk in or I find a place where I can pitch a tent. Okay. But Meghalaya being a fairly tourism, aware place, there are quite a good cheap homestays over there, small homestays. Very cozy and small and simple homestays which will serve you home food. I'm a foodie, so I love to try different kinds of food from all the regions where I visit.
Yeah.
So Meghalaya is one heaven for food. The Khasi food is amazing over there. Khasi is a tribe. There's a range of hill and named as Khasi Hills because the people from those hills are called Khasi. Yeah. So in Meghalaya, there is a favorite place where I always visit and I find it my second home.
Okay.
That place is called Novet Village. Okay. So the story of Novet Village is when I first visited in 2015 during the All India trip.
Yeah.
This Novet Village was 4 kilometers from Molyneux, which is the cleanest village of Asia. I visited this village and I found it really amazing that because Molyneux is meant to be a cleanest village, but I found Novet also equally clean and equally, mesmerizing. And there is a beautiful viewpoint which was made by a person. They're basically they're tribals, right?
Yeah.
So they viewpoints out of this bamboos. And these viewpoints are hanging on the air, supported by bamboos from below. So I was really stunned. I wanted to come there again. So I visited this village again during this trip.
Yeah.
There's this beautiful homestay over there, which I feel like, that's the best thing I would love to have in my life. A home like that. A home entirely made of bamboo.
Wow.
And entirely made of bamboo and wood. Okay. And it's not just like simple bamboo wood home. It's very different in terms of what you say, like the fit and finish, the polish. That was there in Meghalaya. So in Novet, I've become friends with the people over there. So they take me on a trek. Places which are not really known to people. And we had our own great time in Novet village. We went to Dauki, saw the crystal clear water.
Right.
We went to the root bridges. There's a root bridge in Okay. So that's a single root bridge, not a double root bridge. So from Novet, after staying there for 2-3 days in Novet, we moved further west towards Cherrapunji.
Okay. And then while we're hitting Cherrapunji, I just wanted to touch upon, so this is one of the places that gets the most rainfall in the whole of the world, right?
Yeah.
So while you were here, you said around Feb, so it did not play spoil sport during your race?
It wasn't. It wasn't raining at all. It was quite warm, but the water was very cold at all the places.
Sure.
But the weather was pleasant. It was not warm. It was not hot. It was not cold either.
Okay.
So
just running up to the summers, right?
Because it was a very perfect, weather condition and climatic condition to ride on, to travel.
Sure.
Sunny, beautiful. You see good sunsets. You see good watercolors. The turquoise color of the water, really takes your breath away.
Yeah.
Cherrapunji was on my cards. I went to Cherrapunji and we took a room over there because we didn't find any place to camp. And being a tourist place, just like how Munnar is, or how Shimla is, you may find, but you'll have to go a bit on the outskirts. So we took a room in Cherrapunji.
Okay.
And next day, we went to this village called as Nongriat. So from Cherrapunji, you go 15 kilometers to a village called Terna by bike.
Okay.
And from there, you park the bike and you trek for 3 kilometers downhill and then uphill to Nongriat, where there are this double route bridges. Okay.
Right.
So double-decker route bridges.
Yeah.
That trek itself, it may seem exhausting, it may seem very exasperating and tiring, but it was really great. Like the beauty is unmatched. I didn't find such beauty anywhere. Every part of India has a different kind of beauty associated with it.
Sure.
So Ladakh has its own beauty. Northeast has its own beauty. Within Northeast, Meghalaya has its own beauty. Manipur has its own beauty.
I think that's what is very unique about India, right? I mean, it is a big country, but so diverse, and even a few kilometers apart, things might be so different. Even in terms of everything, literally, in terms of terrain, in terms of people, in terms of the culture there, right? So much variance, and that's one of the unique and good parts I feel about India, right?
My way of travel is to travel and submerge myself into all the diversities of what India has to offer related to food, people, region, forest, everything. So that's what I feel travel is meant for. Like, you should indulge with everything. You should indulge with everyone. No food preference, no people preference. You don't have to see any social background. You don't have to see any people's social status or anything. Everyone is a friend to you. And that's how you carry on with the travel.
Yeah, just be a local while you are with them, right? Just be like them.
And see, I have eaten the kind of food which I can't tell you. Maybe I have eaten things in my life as I visited so many places. So I just carry on. Like, it's not that I adopt that as my lifestyle, but when you are there, you be like that. That's all.
Exactly. Yeah. And then just in terms of, while we are at it, in terms of the food, right? How is this different? I mean, a lot of it is water-based, I'm assuming, Prasanjit?
Water-based, but most of them in Northeast, they don't use too much of spices and masala.
Yeah.
What color we have here is like the dark red or brown color, which we have in the mainland. Yeah. Okay, they will have they'll have a bit of faded white color or cream color, some kind of like that.
Yeah,
they don't have too much of spices and masala and coloring in their food, and they keep it very simple, and that is tasty, believe me.
Yeah, and it's good on your tummy as well, right? You don't upset your tummy, and it's a good thing while you're traveling, especially.
It's a good thing. See, there are 19 major tribes in Assam. Okay. Every tribe, so basically the meat that is famous in Northeast is pork. In Northeast, they eat a lot of pork.
Yeah.
So every tribe in Assam has a different way of cooking their own pork. Every tribe in Manipur will have a different way of cooking their own food in their manner. Every meat is prepared in a different manner. There's a lot of things to explore in Northeast, not just the region which you visit. If you go deep, it's endless, like that.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, every few kilometers, it's like a new country.
I'll give you another example. If you see even the knife which people use, is even different from tribe to tribe. Even they are very particular about the knife which they use. Like what we call as the axe or the machete.
Yeah.
The machetes which they use are different in every tribe.
Yeah.
So they have a particular way of making the machete for every tribe. Every tribe will have a different way of tying the thread on the handle. So that is what makes travel more exciting and informative and knowledgeable. That's what I experienced in Northeast.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. So now you are at the double-decker bridges. You said after this, where did you move on to, Prasanjit?
From double-decker bridges, we trek further to go to Rainbow Falls. Okay, it's all trek. You cannot ride a motorcycle or drive a bike.
Yeah.
And I will tell you one very unusual thing which you would have never heard of in your life.
Okay.
The people of Nongriat, where you trek for 3 kilometers or for 2-3 hours from the village in Cherrapunji, okay, where you park your bike. The people of Nongriat, they are opposing and they have put a petition against the government for not building roads to their village.
Okay. And, so say this again. Let me digest this. So they've petitioned against roads being built to their village, or for roads being built to the village?
Against. They don't want roads to be built to their village. Okay.
Yeah, I was just making sure I hear this right.
They just want people who can really come by trek, not just any other people who will just come there for a stopover and go back.
Yeah.
So they're happy with the filtered amount of people who can really trek and who can really explore places. So they even asked me to sign the petition. Even I did that because I really love the place and I don't want it to be spoiled by the roads.
Yeah.
The trek is good enough. Yeah, it's not a hard trek. It's a very decent trek. If you have like 10 days of jogging and running experience, it will be a piece of cake for you, like that. So that's one very unusual thing I got to know in Meghalaya, that these people don't want roads to their village. And the way that old man was narrating, he said, we don't want people coming here just for clicking selfie and going back, just ha 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 ha, like that. So
Yeah.
we have people here coming for 2-3 months, the foreigners and the westerners who come there, they stay there for 3 months, 4 months at a time.
Yeah.
And then they, just chill out there, like stay there for like long time.
Yeah. So
That's how.
somebody who's doing slow travel and somebody who kind of indulges themselves, as you said, right, into the culture there and takes it easy. And I think it's a brilliant initiative, even in terms of, say, how taxing it is on the ecosystem there, right? It's not sustainable of if you're building roads and destroying the harmony that is there between nature and the locals living there. So I think it's a brilliant initiative, and he's being brutally honest about a lot of us, right? I mean, it is sad but true that a lot of us are superficial in the sense we just want to go there and show everybody that we've been there. So just go click selfies and come back. That's how it's become these days, right?
That's how it has become. That's how means the main motive and the main intention of travel is become, the intention of clicking selfies and putting a check-in on Facebook maybe.
Absolutely.
For most of it. So that's what these guys don't want. Yeah. They know it better. They know it more than us. So they are preventing such people to come over to their place. But ultimately, the takeaway point is travel in the right sense. Yeah. Get indulged. Just don't go for a picture over there. Yeah. And get to know the place and know how the region, how the place affects the people, affects you, and what changes it brings in you. That's more important, what you take out of travel, not how you travel.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's an excellent point. And so did you end up staying here for a longer time, Prasanjit?
Yeah, I stayed here for 2 days. Okay. And it was already like my clients were calling up at that time.
Okay.
So we had to, move out from there, and after 2 days, and I came back to Cherrapunji the next day. And from Cherrapunji, we saw some places around like the Dentland Falls. And there are a lot of attractions in Cherrapunji, which people normally visit. And there is this Nokhalakai waterfalls over there. There are David Scott Trail. Okay. So these are some places which are like must visit when you're in Cherrapunji. So make an itinerary of 3-4 days of Cherrapunji, or 4-5 days. Yeah. And 2-3 days for Dauki and Novit. So in all, 7 to 8 days are sufficient for you to, sum up the Meghalaya trip. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is why not rushing through stuff, right? You can take it at your own pace.
Yeah, like you can do it in 4 days also, but 6 to 7 days or 8 days you can easily get, you get an immersive experience of Meghalaya.
So from here, did you continue moving west, or where do you head to? I mean, I know you already had work pressure at this time.
Yeah, so it was already 27, 28 days. Okay. So I reached Guwahati. I had a friend over there. He arranged to keep my bike. Okay. I booked the flight ticket on the spot. And the next day morning, I got the flight and came to Mumbai. Okay. Muthu came riding all the way from Guwahati to Hampi, like that.
Oh, wow. Okay. So he did it solo.
Yeah, he did it solo. So I told him, he is just like me, or I am just like him. So he came all the way riding on his Tram Tiger from Guwahati to Hampi, and he ended his ride. And my bike was still there in Guwahati, so the trip had not ended for me. I went there after 3-4 months. I visited again.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and I went back to Meghalaya again because I loved that place so much. And I went there again during monsoon. Oh, okay. And 6 days I was in Meghalaya. I couldn't get out of the room because it was pouring day in and day out. So yeah, there was nothing to see in Meghalaya at that time because everywhere there was fog. There was either fog or it was raining very heavily. So I couldn't see anything. I was solo at that time. I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, okay.
From there to Sikkim, and from Sikkim, I came back to Mumbai. Like another 25 days trip for me. Yeah.
That's a good excuse to leave your bike behind also, right? Do another trip that way.
And it saves your, it saved me a lot of money also in shipping the bike or putting the fuel. So that was just like once I did in my life. I don't do this usually. I never ship my bikes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all about.
Excellent. That's been a wonderful journey. And as you said, it's been really an immersive experience and you took it slow. That's the best part, I think. And as you said, Northeast, even though you might think that it's not very large in terms of area, it's just such a melting pot, right? In terms of the different tribes from the different states. And even within a state, there's so much diversity there that you can easily take 8 to 10 days off and explore every state. It's been a wonderful ride and thank you for sharing all that experience with us, Prasanjit. But before we kind of inch towards the end of this interview, you have given some very invaluable tips during the course of the podcast. But is there something you'd like to share with fellow bikers and fellow riders who are doing road trips, solo trips, or group trips? Anything from your side that you want to share?
From my experiences, the trend today is a lot of bikers, they want to just simply, hop on the bike and go to Ladakh. That's the main motive. Okay. So when I began bike riding back in 2008-9, that time Alibag was my first destination and it grew steadily over the years.
Right.
So you need to have a lot of enthusiasm and take experiences of places around you and then move ahead.
Yeah.
And having a club or having a group where you can ride with always helps because you get to learn a lot of things, know about a lot of things. I belong to a club, which is a pan-India motorcycle club called Wolfpack India.
Okay.
That group laid the foundation for me, in terms of knowledge of how to take bike trips. So I learned from there steadily, slowly, and implementing them on my solo rides.
Okay.
Make good networking, socialize with people, and learn. Learning is more important when you want to travel. Learn how to travel and learn when you travel. Both. That is more important. Like what you learn from your travel and how you learn to travel. Both are important. Very crucial.
Excellent. Yeah. And just in terms of the work you're doing with BTH, right? Behind the Handlebar. I know you are doing other things other than just blogging and sharing experiences and giving tips. You also arrange for motorcycling trips and camping trips and all of that, right? Would you also like to share?
I don't arrange for motorcycle trips.
Okay.
I arrange for camping sessions.
Okay.
Around Mumbai and Pune.
Okay.
We have a WhatsApp group of Behind the Handlebar.
Okay.
There are around 200 to 50 people. So we are a bunch of like 25-30 people in and around Mumbai, Pune who come together every month.
Okay.
And there is no service and there is no charge. Simple as that.
Very interesting.
Okay. I don't provide any service, neither do I charge. It's just like, coming together of all the like-minded people. You do it very raw and you do it yourself. And we spend time and we network. That's the main motive of my camping session.
Awesome. And is this open for everyone in and around the area, or how is this? Is it a closed group? I mean,
it's not a closed group. It is people from all age groups, like from 45-50 to 20-19. Even a 6-year-old, 7-year-old have come for the camping trips. So people bring their kids along, their dogs along, their wives, girlfriends, whoever their friends. They come along with anyone. And the basic rule of this camping is do not be an asshole.
We might have to beep that part out, but yeah.
Yeah. Do not be a jerk. Do not be harmful to anyone. Do not trouble anyone. That's the main, telling you very freely, it's a very short word. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah. Very bluntly put.
Yeah, I'm very blunt in that manner. So, just don't be an asshole, and it sorts out everything. And till date, we have done with 4 camping sessions for the last 4 or 5 months, and not a single, incidents of or someone misbehaving. Everyone, because see, this is what I exactly look for. When you set up a place, when you set up an event where you say that you need to do your own thing, you need to manage your own thing. Only those people who have the grit to do it, they will come. I am more interested in meeting only those people.
Yeah, excellent. So we will, Prasanjit, if you're permitting, we will definitely share the links to obviously your blog page along with the other activities, right, for the group and for everything. And people can reach out to you. And I think Prasanjit's contact details, WhatsApp details are also mentioned on his blog page. So interested people can reach out to him for some excellent advice. And he's a great guy. I mean, as he himself put it, he might be blunt about it, but at least is very straightforward and very honest about things. And it's a great way to network with the community and get to know other people, and more than anything, to learn from fellow bikers and fellow riders, right? That's the intention.
Exactly. So the thing is, I love to interact with a lot of people and take something or the other to carry on for my life. Some good things and bad things which you should not do or which you should avoid.
Yeah.
So everyone has their own experiences from which we can learn. Having this camping, community, I don't aspire or I don't put myself as a leader or, ruler of the group or anything. I'm just a facilitator. I just facilitate things for people to take on their adventure and make them confident about how they can camp if they go on their trips.
Excellent. On that profound note, thank you so much, Prasanjit, for being a lovely guide for us, taking us through this, firstly, wonderful trip of the Northeast and Meghalaya specifically, and showing us all the marvelous sights and everything from places to see around to the locals to flavor of the food there. All of that, as well as sharing some excellent advice in terms of how to be a responsible biker and how to be a good learner more than anything. So thank you for that excellent advice and sharing that whole experience with us. We're really pleased to have you. And as I mentioned earlier, we will share all of the links to Prasanjit's social media handles as well as his contact details for anybody interested to reach out to him. Thank you, Prasanjit. That was yet another great episode of the Musafir Stories. If you guys like the show, please subscribe to us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Audioboom, Savan, Pocket Casts, Castbox, Stitcher, or any other podcasting app available on iOS or Android. Please do leave us a review on iTunes. It goes a long way in the show's discoverability. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We go by the handle The Musafir Stories. Or, if it suits you, you could email us at themusafirstories@gmail.com or visit our website at www.themusafirstories.com for more information. All of these links will be made available in the show notes section of each episode. So here's to more traveling, sharing, and inspiring. Stay tuned for our next episode. Until then, happy travels and goodbye.